Welcome to today's webinar, which is arranged by Deloitte and NayaDaya Analytics. I am Maria Kausto-Turner, a partner from NayaDaya Analytics. And in today's webinar, we have Malin Koho, who is a Senior Manager Operational M&A Advisory at Deloitte Finland. And she is unfortunately today without the camera option, but she is online. And then we have Timo Järvinen, our co-founder from NayaDaya Analytics. First, I will give Malin and Timo the floor to introduce themselves before we go forward. Malin, you go first.
Thank you, and good morning or good day to everyone, depending on where you are joining from. And my apologies for only being a voice here today, had some technical troubles around that. But my name is Malin Koho, and I work with operational M&A at Deloitte Finland. And just to give a short introduction what operational M&A is all about, our team offers services for the entire acquisition and divestment process. We focus on operational due diligence in the pre-deal phase, and then on planning and executing integration or separation programs then in the post-deal phase. And also additionally, we work with performance improvement projects where we then help our clients to enhance their company profitability. In addition, my particular focus is on people M&A topics, which is all about the human side of an M&A transaction. And I personally believe that the success of a deal often depends on the people involved and how people-related matters are dealt with throughout the M&A phases, from actually identifying the deal throughout the final transformation. So very excited about the topic here today, and great to be here. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Malin. And so I'm Timo Järvinen. I founded the company NayaDaya Analytics about 8 years ago already. So there are many years of demanding development behind us and solving people-related business-critical problems, and now especially in M&A integrations with the help of science, AI, innovations in analytics with the solution we call people risk analytics. So today we have a people focus on M&A integrations, like how to identify and mitigate the people-related risks in single integrations, and also how to learn from data collected and analyzed from multiple integrations, so to develop a dynamic kind of PMI process. So the goal is to avoid the expensive M&A failings, of course, but also to build inclusive type of integrations and sustainable growth. But with Deloitte, we've been collaborating with many years already, so it's great to be here today with Malin. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Malin and Timo. Briefly about the agenda, the webinar will last approximately 45 minutes. And after that, we will have time for questions and answers. All the questions can be submitted via the chat channel during the webinar. So please do that if something pops up in your mind and you want to ask questions later. Okay, stage is yours, Malin and Timo.
Okay, thank you, Maria. So when we discuss how to manage people-related risks in each integration and how to develop the PMI process in general across many integrations, I mean, in cases where there may be like several integrations every year or many of them going on at the same time, it's interesting to first to understand how the integration processes are developed in general, and especially from the people point of view. So is there a way to learn from the integrations, and in what extent that data and analytics is used? So first, I'm glad to give space to Malin and her expertise here to share some of her thoughts and experiences and practices from Deloitte also. So I give space to you, Malin, now.
Well, thank you, Timo, and I'm very happy to introduce this topic. So if we first dive into the PMI process development, and here then PMI stands for post-merger integrations, meaning then when the deal is agreed and you start to work on integrating the bought company or business into the buyer. The PMI process is actually a very crucial part of any project, and it involves a systematic approach to managing and controlling the different aspects of an integration from initiation to completion. And there are 6 key elements in the PMI process that I would like to highlight here today, because these are also especially relevant to the people perspective that we are focusing on today. Looking first at the clear objectives. This is, of course, about having clear strategic objectives for the integration and also well-defined plan how to achieve them. Shortly meaning that you know what you are doing and why, most of all. Then effective communication, ensuring an open and transparent communication with all stakeholders to both manage the expectations but also mitigate the resistance to change. Then project management, and applying strong project management principles to oversee the integration process, manage risk, and ensure that integration activities are completed on time and with budgets is, of course, what this topic is all about. But then if we move on to the next 3, and I think these are now especially also for our topic here today, because these are very much about the people side. The culture integration, meaning that recognizing and addressing the cultural differences between the merging entities to then create a unified organizational culture. Then the actual people management, which I think is all about understanding that employees are the key to success of the integration, and then managing all the employee changes in a good way so that you get to retain the key talent and also maintain a good spirit throughout the transaction and integration, both here now for the transferring employees, but also for the so-called old ones or the ones already in the company, because they might also experience the change. And actually, thinking back to what we have seen in integration where fails often occur, it is related to the people and culture reasons. So these are quite key when talking about the topic today. But then the final one, and this is also something we work a lot around at Deloitte, is the continuous improvement. And it means that we regularly review and adjust the integration plan based on feedback, based on performance metrics, to ensure that the integration is actually delivering the expected benefits and is achieving what are set out to be achieved. And now I here recall that Timo actually mentioned already data and analytics, and must say that there is a true value in having a solution that can collect and analyze data, especially about people and risk, and then using this input in the continuous improvement work. Maybe as a final note around these 6, it's of course always worth remembering that every integration, every transaction is unique. So the PMI process should also be tailored to fit the specific circumstances and strategic objectives of the deal. But then again, to be able to tailor, there needs to be a base, a framework to use, and then know how to adapt it to the specific transaction. And kind of with that note, I would jump into the second part and talk a bit about playbooks, because in connection to the PMI process, a PMI playbook is then essentially a company-specific guide that provides the framework for the PMI process. And in our team, we have supported several of our clients with creating these company-specific playbooks. So this is a very familiar area for us also at Deloitte, and we have really seen the benefits of having and using playbooks in integrations. And one of the benefits is that having a playbook, it outlines the steps to be taken the roles of the different stakeholders, and it also provides a roadmap for handling various situations that may arise during the project. But it can also include very concrete tools and be very, on a practical level, helpful with having detailed action plans, checklists, and timelines then for each phase of the integration process. And a playbook is also typically developed based on best practices, past experiences, and then of course customized to align with the company's strategic objectives, with the corporate culture, so that it actually fits each and every company it is created for. And in practice, a well-made playbook, PMI playbook, it can also serve as an excellent communication tool, helping to set the expectations and provide the clarity to all stakeholders involved in the integration.
Okay, Malin, can I ask you something there? I mean about the about the learning from the past in the integrations and the experiences. I mean, I'll start working in practice in that process.
Yes, Timo, that's a good point, because a playbook should, of course, always be a living document, so that you update and refine it over time as the company learns from its integration, throughout its integration and after each integration. And I must say that unfortunately, many times the lessons learned tend to be forgotten, or they might be very well documented during the project, or at least at the end of a project, but perhaps then lost in the archives, or not handed over to the next project team. So actually having a way or a tool to collect data, to analyze it, and then have the process of using that information to improve the PMI process and have it updated in the playbook, having the learnings updated in the playbook is very valuable and a very practical way of learning from doing. So that was my short introduction to the topic. I think I'll hand over to you, Timo, now.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Malin. And so regarding what you told us here, seems that there is a need for new kind of insights, and like in two altitudes, I would say, like low and high, like operational and strategic level of integrations. And we should more like actively collect and explore people-related data, finding insights and actions for each integration and across all integrations to identify and mitigate the risks in those single integrations, but also building like a dynamic learning kind of PMI process. So seems like this.
Yep, I agree exactly. That would be a great combination, and kind of finding that kind of new kind of integration excellence to avoid the common people-related M&A risks would actually be very beneficial.
Yeah, I think so too. So now to have these kind of insights, which would be needed here, I think something new is required here. I mean, the traditional metrics, they are not enough for these insights we need. So when we at NayaDaya Analytics started our journey 8 years ago, a journey which like ended up solving these critical business problems in M&A integrations, especially with the help of Deloitte, we started from emotion and behavior science, and I could talk about that like for the whole day, but since we don't have that, I'm just like clarifying a couple of things here. And so in our people risk analytics for M&A integrations, we use a scientific model of emotions, and the model is based on research in the University of Geneva in Switzerland. And on the left there, you see that this science-based model there, you see that every emotion there has a different impact on behavior in several dimensions. Here we show like two of them, from negative to positive, which is so-called valence in science, and then from disengagement to engagement. And then below there you see the traditional scale of like satisfaction or NPS, for example. So there lies a problem. I mean, this traditional scale there, it works only in one dimension, from negative to positive, you know, this valence, and it doesn't understand the engagement dimension at all. So by using this traditional service and scales and so on for trying to understand people, you end up like emphasizing satisfaction. Satisfaction or contentment there, it's an emotion which makes people more passive, not promoting the change at all. So basically, satisfied people don't feel like doing anything, actually. So to put it shortly, with the traditional service, you are not able to get these insights you need to for this PMI process there, but emotions are different. I mean, they're an excellent tool to predict behavior. The image on the right side there tells you that it's not only about behavior, it's about like predicting behavior. I mean, it's like influencing behavior, mitigating the risks, promoting the change. This is only one component to get this new kind of understanding, but it's an important one. And so with one sentence, emotions are a powerful tool for understanding behavior. That's the point here. We can get back to these scientific things with you later if you like. But now about the process of the analytics here, people risk analytics here, building the low and the high level insight for the PMI process. You know, very simple from the client point of view here. I mean, input means data we are collecting from employees there. And then the data is processed with our analytics. You know, there are tools for building both the operational and the strategic insights for the PMI process, and then the output includes in general like 3 levels: people risk levels, their root causes, and action points and recommendations. And then there's also some extra kind of landscapes for the strategic level of the PMI. So this process it works for single integrations and across all integrations as a responsive learning tool to update the PMI playbook. And this standard kind of process can be executed always the same way in one integration. That means like 3 times, starting from the closing of the deal.
Timo, most actually seems very simple, but in what size of companies can this be used?
Yeah, that's a good question, of course, and I have a good news here, because this process it's scaling even with the companies with 10 people to hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of people. So this is extremely scalable process and not burdening the people as the stakeholders there. Then a couple of words about the collecting data, like shortly here. I mean, this is the cloud application we use it, and it's easy to share with people. I mean, we don't need those traditional surveys with many burdening questions at all. We need only these 3 questions, which are about emotions, their intensities, and the reasons behind them in the context of the integration. So this method we used there, it's based on the scientific research in the University of Geneva, and that's an excellent way to understand emotions, and also in many languages and cultures and so on. So in practice, people pick 1 or 2 emotions from these 20 emotions, their strength, and then reasons behind them as free-form responses there. So why do you feel interest, of relief, sadness, fear, anger, whatever you feel there, nothing more. So it's short and intuitive, not burdening the people, and the questions, they are always the same. And we don't identify people, so no personal data at all there.
I think that was a good note, because if it's anonymous, it's more honest perhaps also, and seems very simple. If I look back on our experiences in integration, we do need to manage different stakeholder groups differently, and also look from different organizational perspectives. If we would like these results, for example, from different business units, is that possible?
Yes, of course, that's very important to have that. So depending on the needs and the size of the company, also we can ask some background variables there, for example, about business units or so on, however you like. But like basically these are the questions, and then with those background variables which will be needed there. Good point. Okay, before going to the insights, just a couple of words about the analytics to understand what is needed to build those insights. So let's take a look at this process, this even patent pending method we have here and technology. I mean, the first level there, that's we call it emotion and behavior intelligence, the core analytics we have been developing many years now. Then the second level there, it's about setting goals, as you see, for the process. And then the third level there, that's a dynamic framework for identifying the right kind of actions. It's an innovation itself, which is based on emotion and behavior science, also M&A process intelligence. Actually, Deloitte has been helping us to develop content for this framework. So many thanks to Malin and her colleagues there. So then when we use also generative AI, we can get to the fifth level, which is about those actions. So to get these outputs and insights, we will show you by asking only those 3 questions, which is quite amazing actually. I think you need this deep analytics of science, AI, M&A integration, intelligence, and several innovations there. So this all is something we've been building for these many years. Okay, but now I think it's we can take a look at the outputs and insights. So what kind of insights we can create for each integration, but also across integrations to support the building and updating the PMA strategy and the playbook. So let's start from the people risk levels there, like there. So that's a number between 0 and 100, and it's based on a scientific algorithm which is predicting employee behavior in 3 dimensions. So meaning that the bigger the number is there, the bigger is the risk for the integration to fail. And then there is another indicator about employee experiences, easy to understand. I mean, only positive, only negative emotions. Also, people having positive and negative emotions at the same time, which is many times the case also, or no emotions at all, which means like insignificance or indifference. So you can use both these indicators like several times during the integration to see the risk levels and employee experiences in different phases of the integration and how they evolve there in different business units also. And then, you know, by combining the data from all integrations, you will see the average levels and employee experiences in your integrations and how those also evolve in the integration process. So the 2 levels here, the operational level and the strategic level of information. Then we need to know the concrete things behind those numbers. And then, so the second output and insight here, we call it root cause analytics. So this is showing you the things behind emotions, like their significance, which is the size of the bubbles, and their impact on behavior, which is the location of the bubble in different phases of the integration. So you will see like what is there, what is creating retention and motivation, productivity, like change readiness, successful integration, like up there or there or there, or passivity, which would be more like a comfort zone, if you like. I mean, not promoting the change, or then employee turnover down there. Productivity collapse, financial losses, reasons for them, those things, and then resistance, even aggressive behavior up there or there. The tools would be there, the root cause, not good for the change either, of course. So these bubbles, they are different in each case. These are just examples. We don't know beforehand what they are, and you can use this so for comparing situations in different phases of the integration in different business units also. And but that's not all. I mean, by combining the data and analytics from all integrations now, you will see the big picture of your all integrations. I mean, you will see like for example, like what are the biggest root causes creating retention or employee turnover, productivity loss, reasons for people related like success or failings. And you will see how this big picture evolves in the PMI process. So Malin, what do you think about like developing the PMI process with these kind of insights and information? What do you think?
Well, I think that if we can refresh the PMI playbook with this kind of information, which get updated then round by round with each integration, it would actually build a very comprehensive understanding, which of course would be really useful for learning and for building the process and integration plans. So I think you could call this actually a quite a unique way to build a learning process for the post-merger integration process.
Yeah, thanks. That's great to hear. And so we can build these insights for the operational and the strategic level, as said, from the same source. So with the same analytics. So that's quite practical, actually. Okay, then about third output and insight, action points and recommendations. From the left there, first we can prioritize the risks or risk factors, as we call them, and below them things we call protectors. So they are more like securing the integration against the people risks. So I mean, when we use our algorithm there, giving them weights and priorities to these topics there. So I mean, there are a lot of small text, but don't worry about that. We can give you more practical examples in further discussions if you like. So that's you will get more information about that. But then there is a summary of actions, and then also more detailed actions for each risk and each protector. So all these these actions, they are based on the case-by-case result and the situation and even the phase of the integration, and totally like responsive, dynamic system. And from these guidelines you can select and like finalize those most relevant things to you and to make them concrete. And now, as you probably already guess, I mean, all these insights and actions you are able to use in different phases of the integration, of course, and also on the higher level, combining all your data to build and update the PMI playbook, also part of that. So Malin, what do you think about the value of these actions? I mean, you'll be helping us to create these. You have an opinion about that.
Well, for example, to actually be able to identify the major risk factors in the beginning or throughout the integration, of course, that helps. Then you can adapt the activities accordingly. So this would actually help to focus on the right things in the integration. Yeah, looks very good.
Yeah, okay, thanks. And I mean, and also, you know, the summary of actions, which is like there, I mean, not only like for different phases of each integration, but also you can use that one like across all integrations, the strategy level. I think that's good to point there. Okay, then we have some extra insights, I would say. We can go even further here. I mean, by collecting data from the real employee turnover in the target companies, those numbers, and combining those numbers with our data and analytics, we are able to provide you these insights. So like we can point out, for example, the top root causes that are like prominent in the situations where the employee turnover has been the highest. And not only that, I mean, we can also show how those things, I mean, their weight and their weights and impact, how they evolve during the integration process. And of course, the same applies also for things behind the low employee turnover, the retention, to understand the upside. So this is now the kind of risk point of view here, but the same applies to the upside. So these actionable insights, I mean, they are especially valuable for the strategic level of PMI development and using concrete numbers from the business employee turnover there. Then here's the last example we have here. I mean, this is showing you how to compare different acquisition targets and integrations with each other. So here each bubble is a company, and the size of the bubble is the size of the company, indicating also the size of the investment. So and the colors there and the locations, they are about the risks like green meaning low, yellow medium, and red meaning high risk. The purple there, it's about like total collapse if you like lose the integration totally. That would mean that. So here it's easy to see how the risks, how they evolve in different phases of the integration in each company with different sizes. So Malin, what do you think like about this kind of like landscape of integrations we can show here?
Yes, I think this is a very intuitive overview. I think it's easy to see the companies and the integrations and see where there might be crises or successes. And I think it's also interesting to see how the situations have evolved and they're thinking about what activities have happened and what lessons has been learned along the way. So I think it's a simple, a very good view to get.
Yeah, thanks. That's great to hear. And now going to a kind of a conclusion here, I mean, what we have seen to build your integration excellence, you need insights for each integration and also across all integrations, like to support the PMI process on both operational and strategic levels. Okay, so you need their responsive and dynamic insights and actions to adapt the single integration and update your PMI playbook. And that's exactly what we have here. I mean, it may seem like even amazing that you can get all these insights by asking like 3 questions from the employees in the target companies, like only 3 times during the integration process. And I would say that amazing it is, actually. I mean, it's obvious that the traditional service metrics, they are not able to do anything like this. So, because what is needed here is it's the emotional and behavior science, AI integration intelligence, several innovations we have been made during this year. So Malin, how do you feel about this, what we have seen in general? What would you say?
Well, I think that what we now have seen and the approach you have also brought forward, Timo, it's focuses very well on the critical aspects of the people side of the PMI process, the ones that I also related back to in the beginning and was walking through around effective communication, culture integration, and especially the continuous improvement and learning from the integrations. So I think that combining the operational and the strategic analytics and insights like this is a very effective tool and can help many integrations.
Yeah, thanks. Exactly. I feel the same. So one more thing I would like to emphasize here, just to clarify that, I mean, this solution here, what we are talking about, it's not an employee survey, okay? I mean, this is a unique method and technology for these business critical situations where investments, they are huge, the goals, they are high, and the risks are big, and those risks tend to become reality too often. So this is where we can help. And here's the concrete solutions available. Just briefly here, I mean, the people risk analytics for each integration with the 3 rounds of the analytics and across all integrations as a subscription according to your needs. I mean, of course, the sooner you start collecting your data, the sooner you will have these insights on the strategic level to improve the PMI process, to pay attention to people, build inclusive integrations, and finally, I would say, like, to address the risks that may be even fatal to your investments. So this is all about all. So here's our contact information also for mine and for Malin. So we are here to help you, of course, and more than happy to discuss with you. Also on our webpage nayadaya.com, we have a link where you can book a meeting if you like. But from my point of view, thank you very much for all of you and for Malin and Maria also. So let's be in that touch.
And same for my side. Thank you. Thank you, Ora. Happy to continue discussions. So please be in touch.